Hey guys, moving on to assignment number 3. You guys have been awesome, going well above and beyond. You've been dealing with the text, the choices. You've already kind of started putting in your own switches. We're going to go over today just to make sure everyone's really clear on it, how those switches work, variables, auto run, and parallel. So without further ado, let's get into this. You guys have already seen this, but I'm going to go through it real quickly. David hasn't seen it for this video, and it'll be a refresher. So remember our brave adventurer Colin? He earned the love of the fair mermaid and Rebecca, but Colin soon learned that being married to a mermaid is terrible. So she says, Colin, my love, yes, sweet Rebecca, go get me 4 seashells. I want seashells. Okay, my love. Colin must go find seashells down by the seashore. 4 seashells at the seashore. No less, no more, just 4. All right, so if we talk to her again, she says, hello, 4 seashells, I'm waiting. So she needs to be activated by a variable that's going to be taken up. So every time we talk to a seashell, he's going to say, here's a lovely seashell, worthy of my dear Rebecca. And then there's going to be a variable that says seashell plus 1, basically, right? And it says you picked up a seashell. So that's 1. There's 2, 3, 4. So now, dear sweet Rebecca has a variable condition that says when seashell equals 4 or more, she'll say, finally, now go find me 5 more. What a bitch. All right, so let's go find 5 more. Here's another one. Hopefully this will make her happy. You picked up a seashell. Plus 1. Plus 2, or, well, plus 1. 2 total. Plus 1, that's 3. 4. What do y'all think? Is it going to make her happy? I say no. You can never really please a mermaid. As we learned in Little Mermaid, she was just never happy. All right, so good. Now go get me 10 more. Dearest Rebecca, I'm tired for a long day of searching for. I'm sorry, did I stutter? 10 more. Now. Yes, dear. So now that actually triggers a parallel event. After 5 seconds, the game zones out. Whoops. Anyway, it says that this went on for many years. Colin continued to do his new merwife's bidding. Her insatiable lust for seashells drove Colin insane. And just like Colin, you will find no happy ending here. Oh, the dog didn't like that. All right, game over. Okay, so that's the game over. Hold on, let me yell at my dog real quick. Well, this is embarrassing. My dog's gonna interrupt my video. All right, we'll just keep going without the worrying about the dog. All right, so now we're gonna do file. We're gonna do a new project. I actually already created a new project to save time, but you guys know how that works. You would just basically be adding on to your projects. I feel like that's what you guys have been doing, and that's cool. So this one is on my desktop. It's called assignment 3, which makes sense. So I'm just going to open that up. All right, so what I've done here is I've made this little character, a little turban man, and he's on a beach. All right. So you guys have done a lot with text and choices, and that's really cool. I want to start getting you thinking in some other directions, so I'm going to show you some other cool stuff that we can do. So the first thing I want to show you is the auto run that a lot of you guys are already using. This, as you guys have been doing, is a really great way to kind of start your adventure with like a little introduction. So I'm just going to create an event right here. The auto runs, because you're not running up and talking to them, it doesn't really matter. We're going to call it auto run. It's going to be triggered by, you guessed it, auto run. It's going to say, in the top dimly, it's going to say, this is Turban Man. He must cross this treacherous, is that how you spell treacherous? I don't know. Shoreline without hitting too many crabs. Can you help him? All right. Cool. So he's got to cross the thing. That's all we're doing, right? That's our introduction. So now we want this to go away. So there's a couple ways to make that happen, but to show you self switches, we're going to do it this way. So you're going to double click there. We're going to do control self switch. Self switch A. There's a bunch you can choose from, but we're just going to go in order. Self switch A, operation on. So now that triggers within this event and this event only. It doesn't affect any other events on the map. We've now turned on a self switch. So if we do a new event page, There's our second page. It's currently empty. And we want this to happen when this condition self switch A is turned on. So what that means is you're going to load up the game. This is going to automatically come on your screen. Then it's going to switch to this. As soon as that switch gets flipped on, it flips to this event page, which is blank, thus ending the auto run event. So that makes sense. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start playing with some variables. All right, so we are going to make a little crab creature. We're going to make him right here at the bottom of the shoreline. We're going to call him Crabman. All right. We're going to find something that looks somewhat like a crab. I already kind of looked through here. Turns out nothing really looks like a crab, but this thing kind of has horns. So there, that's our little crab. All right. So Crabman is going to do some autonomous movement. And this is going to be a new type you haven't really dealt with yet, or some of you have, but most of you haven't. It's going to be a custom route, right? So we need to, if ever you do custom, you actually have to click on route. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have these crabs running up and down the beach, and if they hit you, stuff's going to happen. So the movement commands, you can be very specific with movement commands, right? Like I could have this event that's going to start here, move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces, all right? And then down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces. So she's just going to keep running up and down the beach, up and down, repeating the movements. If something bumps into her, you or another event, and you don't click skip if cannot move, the event can sometimes like shut down and bug out in weird ways. So we want to do skip if cannot move. That way, if it can no longer go up, it won't care. It'll just like start over again. So if it bumps into the palm tree, it doesn't matter. It's just going to keep going up and down as much as it can. You'll see it in a second. So repeat movement, skip if cannot move. And that's all you need to do for your autonomous movement, the custom type. Now we need to change the speed, right? If this crab moves really slowly, it's kind of boring. So we are going to make it move 2 times faster and the highest frequency. Sure. The priority doesn't matter. The trigger matters a lot. So this is going to be triggered whenever the event touches you. So if the event is moving up and you're standing in its way and it tries to move up to where you are standing, occupying the same square, it will trigger this content. If you were to do player touch for the trigger, you would have to try to walk into a square that the monster occupies, which is actually harder to trigger if you're both moving. So when the event touches you, it triggers this content. And it is going to say, let's pull up a little crab face. Well, there's no crab face. That's right. So does that kind of look like a crab? That's what we chose. Yeah, sure, why not? Rah! I am a crab. All right, so that's what the crab's going to say. And then the crab is going to change a variable. So the control variable, we're going to name it here. We're going to call it crab hit. So you hit a crab, and it's going to operation add 1 to that variable. All right, so if you think of it as a counter, right? We're ticking up. Each time you hit a crab, you're getting +1. And it shows you here, control variable crab hit +1. Okay, and then we don't want the crab to keep bumping into you over and over and over again. So it's going to do, this is a cute little thing that you guys have, some of you have kind of played with, which is animations and balloon icons, right? So we're actually going to do show animation on this event, right? You can set it to the player, or you can just have it happen anywhere, or on a different event, right? We could target the auto run event, but it's going to happen to this event. It's going to be hit physical. There's a whole list here, but we're just going to be simple and do hit physical because we're bumping into it. It's going to wait for that animation to complete, and then basically it's going to poof. We're going to, sorry, I did that a little fast. You double click on this next line and you're going to do erase event. So every time the crab bumps into you, it's going to say something, it's going to go crab hit +1, and it's going to show a little hit animation, and then it's going to disappear. So it's going to kind of poof. All right. Now we're actually going to make a bunch of these, and because of the way we did the movement options, I'm just copying and pasting them all over. There's just going to be all these little crabs scurrying around the beach, and your job is going to be to not hit them. And if you do hit them, you're going to get a bunch of plus variables. All right. And then I'll show you after we test this what you can do with those variables. I'm leaving some spaces here so that like once you pass through the crabs, you can kind of wait and get a breather or whatever. You can play around with this and definitely make it completely impossible to pass, right? They just come at you like lightning speed. You can go through, we can double click and change a couple of them, right? Make them slow, just to change it up, frequency lower. See what I'm doing here? I'm just kind of changing some individual ones. So they all still do the same thing. I'm just kind of changing their speeds so that it doesn't all look completely uniform. So, you know, just kind of messing around with it. Give it some, some variety. Okay, so there are a couple of them are varied. So let's go ahead and play test this. Save changes, yes. I'm going to load it up. All right. So let's see if this variable works. We're going to do new game. All right. This is Turban Man. He must cross this treacherous shoreline without hitting too many crabs. Can you help him? Okay, so see these little crabs are going. So I'm going to try to kind of time it and not hit them. Okay. There we go. Now let's say one of them hits me. Boom. She walks into me. She says, "Rawr, I'm a crab." There's a little hit animation and she disappears. So let's keep this going. So, oh, there's another one hit me. Crab. Oh gosh. Whoop. Crab. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. All right. So I got hit 4 or 5 times or whatever. But you get the idea, right? Okay. So we can go hit them all if we want. Whatever. Each time we hit one, it's counting the crab counter up 1. So there's another little thing I did there that we talked about that I'll show you. The map that I made, it's called Seacoast. It's one of the loaded ones. I'm going to right click that and click edit. And I put in some background music, right? So you just click on these triple dots. You have the background music. I'm going to turn that down just a little, 10%. Okay, so you just turn this on, check it, hit the dots, do whatever one you want. You can upload your own or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. Just do whatever. So that one's loaded up for me. All right, so now we've got these little crabs running around, but nothing changes when we get to the other side. We haven't played with the variables. So we're actually going to make a finish line, which is going to look, let's make an event. We're going to call it finish spot, whatever. We're going to make an image for it. And it is going to be a, what is it going to be? Something obvious. Sorry. It's going to be, I had a little tile in mind. Where'd it go? Well, this is embarrassing. All right. Where are my little portals? There they go. Sorry about that. All right, so when you step on this little guy, trigger is when you step on it, player touches it, it is going to say, well, let's see. Sorry, we have to do it based on conditions. Okay, so the first, we're going to do the variable. If crab hit is 0, right? And this is crab hit is greater than or equal to 0. Then it is going to say text, wow, you didn't hit a single crab, congratulations. All right. So now we are going to copy this event page. So it copies all this material. We're going to paste it. But now we're going to change this variable. We're going to tick it up to 1. If you hit 1 crab or more, so if you hit 0, you'll get this. As soon as you hit 1, it's actually going to turn this event on because it's equal to 1. And it's going to turn this one off. And now it's going to say, wow, you only hit one crab. Nice. Okay, we're going to copy this. We're going to paste it. We're going to do 2. 2. Not too shabby. All right. Gonna copy, gonna paste. 3. Oh, you know what I need to do? That's the end of the game. So right here, we're going to put a return to title screen. All right. Gonna do there. Right, we're just copying that in. So when we hit 3 or more, it's gonna say 3. Come on. You weren't even trying that hard. We're going to copy again. We're just going to do one more. You could go all day, right? You could make a whole bunch of them. So if you get 4 or more, it's going to say 4, you lose. And it's going to say game over. Now we could say that this, whoops, I forgot to copy the title screen. So yeah, so there we go. Those are like our variables, right? So we can go ahead and like kind of play with those, test them. So there's our little finish line. We're going to do save changes to game. Yes. Come on, video game, you can do it. All right, new game. Great, this is Turban Man. He must cross this treacherous shoreline without hitting too many crabs. Can you help him? All right, we're gonna like cheese this out and like be really good. Oh God. Okay, there's one. So if, oh my God. All right, 2. What? Okay. Oh, because it hit the stick. Oh, these guys bumped into each other. See that? Oh, there they go. Oh gosh. What? Oh man. All right. There we go. So now when I step on this, it says 4, you lose. And it's scary because I got 4 more. Okay, so oh wow, that game over is loud. So yeah, so that's the that's one cool like variation you can do with variables and like set movement routes, and you can think of all kinds of cool stuff. I want to show you one more thing, which is the parallel event. So the auto run event says this automatically runs when you load up the game. Now, what we're going to do then is when we turn on the self switch, this second page, we're going to create a parallel event. Like the auto event, it just goes. You don't have to go up and talk to it or whatever, like an action button trigger. It just starts happening. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say show text dim at the top. Oh, and did I mention you only have 1 minute? So now we're going to put a timer in. All right. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to double click this next line of content. So the I don't think I said this. The difference between the auto run and parallel is like the auto run, it runs automatically, but you can still move and interact with the world. Whereas if you'll notice in an auto run event, you're frozen. You can't move in between text or anything. So with a parallel event, it's actually going to run its stuff, but you can still move your character. So did I mention you only have 1 minute? So we're going to click on this next diamond. On the second page, there's a timing button, which is wait. So 60 frames equals 1 second. So we're going to do 600 frames, which is 10 seconds, right? Little math for you here. After 10 seconds, we're going to prompt some text. It's going to say 50 seconds remaining. All right, we're going to copy the 60 frames. Let's put in 20 more seconds, right? So you can only put 3 digits. I couldn't put 6,000 and call it, you know, what would that be? 100 seconds, right? Or whatever. The most you can do is 999. I'm going to do it in increments of 600 because that's 10 seconds and it's easy to do that math. So after 10, 20 seconds, it is now going to say 30 seconds remaining. So then it's going to do, let's do some more. We'll go 1, 2, 20 seconds more. It's going to say 10 seconds remaining. And then after 10 seconds, or again, the control pasted 600 frames, it's going to be time's up, you lose. And then we're going to put in you guessed it, game over. All right, so parallel, while we're trying to cross this desert, if it takes us longer than a minute, which it shouldn't take, but for certain other events or whatever, this would happen. So let's go ahead and try that out. And the way we turn that on, I kind of glossed over it, is the self switch. So the auto run, here's your introduction, then it switches to this page, which starts the parallel event. So let's go ahead and load it all up and try it out. So we're going to save changes to the game, yes, and this is the last thing I'm going to show you, and then I'll let you go play with that for next week. All right, so new game. This is Turban Man. He must cross this treacherous shoreline without hitting 2 big crabs. Can you help him? As soon as I exit out this text, it's going to do the self switch and turn on the parallel, which says now it's ticking. Oh, and did I mention you only have 1 minute? So now, as soon as I exit out of that text, time is ticking. Oh gosh. All right, it's a crab. Yo, I'm like super bad at this. Uh-oh, 50 seconds remaining. Oh gosh. If I was using the arrow keys instead of the mouse, I think I'd be doing a lot better. There we go. Now I got it. Yo, look at that. Next level. All right, I'm just going to buy 30 seconds remaining. So before I go and I talk to this thing, right? Go run into it. I just want to show you how many crabs I hit that time too. So should be coming up on the 10 seconds here real soon. There we go, 10 seconds remaining. We know that's going to give us a game over, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this. 3, come on, you weren't even trying that hard. So yeah, so that was 3 crabs. You can make it as epic of an ending as you want or whatever. But yeah, that's just a cool variation you can do on the variables, and it doesn't always have to be a trivia quiz or whatever like you guys had done and like I'd show you. So that's like a little variation on a theme, and that is that's kind of the new thing. So for next week, play with some variables, put something like that in your game, little +1s, and come up with some different endings or something. Maybe experiment with some event touch kind of mini game style like this. Lots to play with. The parallel events, right? The timing or the stuff that happens behind the scenes, like while you're still moving your character. Tons to play with. I'm going to leave the video at that. Thank you so much.